the network, we are the key, we are the trust the world was waiting to see. Identity rises, authentic and free. Welcome to the world of ENTIFY.
Hi there, and welcome back to Founders Journal. My name is Toby, and I'm the founder of this ENTIFY project. And today I want to continue with the last video. So this is part 2 of the asset tokenization mechanism. So I suggest you watch part 1 first if you haven't. But once more, very simple. This metaphor explains it. In order to tokenize an asset, we have to think of it as a lump of gold. And when you take a lump of gold and melt it down into gold coins, then it becomes money and you can spend it. And they are still real gold coins. It's real money. But once you do this, of course, the original lump of gold has gone. You've lost it. Now, the problem is that's what we're doing. We've taken an asset like a lump of gold and then creating tokens or creating paper notes based on it. But that asset must be liquidated. Like the lump of gold must be melted down. It's gone. So if you do this, if you use a real physical asset to create tokens, that physical asset must be out of circulation. Just like the lump of gold has gone now. And this is where you cheat. People cheat because if you use a lump of gold to create some money, paper notes or tokens, you still got the lump of gold. You're holding it. And now you're tempted. Oh, I could create some more money. I've still got the lump of gold. But that's now cheating. So we're using the blockchain to make sure you cannot cheat. Here's the distinction. There's two things going on. Your asset, the asset which holds the value, must be taken as a single item. One thing, like the lump of gold. Because if you've got a car or you've got a house, that is one single item. You can't cut it in half. You can't take your car, cut it in half. I sell half to you and half to you. It doesn't work. And then if you could, you can't, double or triple sell your car because you've only got one car. So that we're using the blockchain to prove that the asset is a single item and it remains a single item. So that asset becomes a single token, an NFT. Provably so, but it is connected to the blockchain via a digital tag. So now this is what is new. We have got evidence, physical and blockchain verified evidence that the asset is real. It exists and it is localized. It is out of circulation. No cheating can happen. No more money can be liquidated from that asset. Just like the lump of gold. You can't create more gold coins. You can only create a certain amount and the gold has gone. That's it. Now, again, there's another question about ownership. Do we really own anything? Do we own land? Or are we just the custodians of land? Now, in a way, this doesn't really matter because the structure we have got, the legal lawful structure is like this. I have an identity. That identity is me. That's the sovereign foundation layer, your sworn affidavit of truth. That is me, my conscious identity. So that is just it. That's it. Nothing else. So I'm declaring, here I am, I'm alive, I am consciousness. Now the second layer is your private trust. So your private trust is now a lawful entity in its own right. It's actually separate from you. It's a private trust structure. And your private trust is the thing that will own the assets. Now the thing is, the private trust has got a trustee, but there's only one. There's only one trustee of your private trust, and that is you. So you could say that yes, I own the land, or yes, I own the car, because my private trust owns it and I am the only trustee. I authorise the private trust, therefore I do. But you could also say, I don't really own it. I am just a custodian. I, the conscious being, have authorised a private trust that temporarily owns the assets while I'm around. As long as I am the trustee of them, then I look after them, they are mine. Nobody else can claim them because my private trust has lawfully claimed them. And ownership is proven. Here's the thing. Ownership is now proven because of ENTIFY. Before ENTIFY, ownership was never really proven, only to a degree. It can be proven in law with a document signed and witnessed, but that is still always slightly open to debate. Now we have got provable evidence of my identity because of blockchain, because of the ENTIFY system. It is provable because I speak an affidavit, I sign an autograph, but the autograph is turned into mathematical cryptography as you sign it. That's never been done before, and that is now logged onto the blockchain. And the blockchain, again, we never had before, that is perfect mathematical proof of existence. Because now all my assets are connected to the blockchain, remember, via this system, my personal private trust, and they're held in my personal private trust wallet. That's provable on the blockchain. Now there can be no dispute as long as the asset is also verified through this ENTIFY tagging system. Once it is tagged, that is undeniable proof. It proves that the object exists. It is localized where we say it is, and it is blockchain verified that your private trust owns it. True allodial title, that's what it's called. So now, here's the thing. Okay, we've got all the assets, we've got our identity. We can now verify ownership through our personal private trust wallet. But here's the thing, we need to value everything. How do we value it? Now, value is in a way arbitrary, it's personal. I may own a house, a property, someone really wants it, so they're willing to pay 1 million tokens for it. Someone else doesn't like it. No, I'll only pay 100,000 tokens for it. So what is it worth? Well, okay, in a way it doesn't matter because I have the choice to sell it to the person who wants to pay more. Of course I would. But in the system we are using tokens. Tokens are these gold coins, and they must have a universally accepted value inside the network or it won't work. Here's the thing. Now, gold is the most universally accepted value. It is still not quite perfect because some people will value gold more and some people don't care. I don't care about gold. It's worthless to me. But in general, and I believe across the universe, gold has the most universal value. So it's the best thing to use. But if you think about it, even gold coins, a lump of gold you melt down into gold coins, those gold coins are still only tokens. Tokens of value. Because how much is the gold worth to anyone? But it is verified value because it's a piece of gold in a coin. It's limited, it's provable. Again, until now, not perfectly provable. When you use gold coins, every time you've got a gold coin, you're not sure. Is it 100% pure? We have to take it to be verified. Now we don't have to. The gold is verified, then tagged and linked to the blockchain, perfectly proving its authentication forever. Because it's tagged, that tag will be tamper-proof, location provable. So we can prove that once the gold was authentic, it's never been tampered with. So now we can use gold tokens because the gold is verified pure. We can all trust it. Doesn't matter. I don't have to get my ENT tokens and check, are they real gold? No, it's blockchain verified real gold. And it's blockchain verified that a lump of gold has only got a certain amount of tokens. There's only so many milligrams in that lump of gold, so we only ever have that many tokens in circulation. Now, I've talked about this before. We do also create extra tokens. And we also create tokens based on work and based on promise. So these are other tokens of value. You see, our work, our life, is the most valuable thing. It's more valuable than gold. So we must be able to create money based on our work. It's more valuable than gold. And we must be able to create value from our promise. Again, because our promise is more valuable than gold, as long as it is a trustworthy promise. But that's another thing. I'm going to come back to that later. For now, I'm still talking about asset tokenization. We've got to be clear. This is the first basis of creating money from a tangible asset that has value. Now, the problem is we need to tokenize it in the most universal way. How do we do that so we all accept it? We tokenize an asset based on its value in gold. So, and it's not gold that is valued in dollars. It's not the value of gold. It is the quantity of gold, milligrams of gold. So that's difficult. You see, we got a property now, a house, it's worth $1 million. Yeah, but how many milligrams of gold is that worth? Because today, $1 million will buy you so much gold. But last year, $1 million would have bought you more gold. Next year, $1 million, I don't know, how much gold will that buy you? So it's still not a stable value. So we have to forget all about the dollars, forget about the value of gold in dollars. We value the asset in the quantity of gold, milligrams of gold. Now we all, as a network, have to decide how many milligrams of gold is your house worth. It's a tricky decision. And we have to decide this universal value because we need this stable token. So, for example, then it doesn't matter what the house is worth. The house, we decide its initial value as, say, 1 million tokens, which means 1 million milligrams of gold. But from that point on, anyone can bid for the house. They can say, well, I like it more. I'll give you 2 million milligrams of gold for it. So the value of the asset is not fixed, but the value of gold is fixed. You see, what it means is gold is not, repeat, not an investment in ENTIFY. It is virtually pointless holding gold in ENTIFY because the gold will never go up in value. The gold will never go down in value. It's pointless. If you want to buy gold to get an income, it won't work in ENTIFY. But it's a way in. You can buy some real gold and then use that real gold to enter into the ENTIFY network, because you take that gold, get it valued, make sure it's pure, then it's tagged, and then it's measured. You've got 10 milligrams of gold, so now you can have 10 ENT tokens. But that's it. You'll never get any more or any less. And if someone else wants to buy that gold, they will only ever buy it for 10 ENT tokens. That's it. So you will never get any more on your investment, but you'll never get any less. However, the ENT tokens are in the network now, and you can use them to buy any other asset. So we've got to be clear here. This is the definition of a real stablecoin. It is a token of stabilized value. And we have to decide that value in the network. It's quite tricky. You see, that is why initially we need this centralized organization, the Allodial Reserve Private Administration Trust. So this is an organization. It will have people working for it, highly qualified, sovereign, expert trustees. We all must validate the trustees. We all must agree, yes, we trust the people in this organization. And they must also have legal representatives, and they will be in this other company, IPC Limited. Again, the only job of IPC Limited is to administer for the Allodial Reserve Private Trust. I've talked about this before if you go back and watch the video on private banking mechanism. So this is there, but this is a centralized organization, and its job is to decide the stabilized value of gold. Its job is to record the gold coming into the network. That's why it's called a reserve. It's like a gold reserve. But like I said, gold, there's no point buying gold because it's not an investment. It won't go up and down. So not that many people are going to bother buying gold. But if you have gold, it's better to transfer it over to ENTIFY because we will stabilize it for you. Really, it's going to be all the other assets. So that means your house, your car, your artwork, even like your Picasso. You can bring it to the Allodial Reserve Private Trust Administration to have it valued in gold, milligrams of gold. That's a tricky thing to do. Then, once we decide that value, that many ENT tokens you can have in the network. And remember, you still have allodial ownership of that asset. The bank is not taking it. If you take your artwork to the bank to liquidate it and get some money, the bank takes ownership of it. You've really given it to the bank. Then the bank creates fiat currency, gives it to you, but lends it to you. You've lost on all sides. This way, you maintain ownership of your asset. It's still your house, provably so. It still belongs to your private trust as a single entity in your private trust wallet. But it is stabilized, it is fixed now, permanent, because you have liquidated it into ENT tokens, which means milligrams of gold, this stabilized value. Now within the ENT token, within the ENT tokenomics, you can still sell your house for more or less. Doesn't matter, someone will bid more ENT tokens for it. But they are using only this stabilized unit of value. Do you see? What we've got now is the dollar. People are saying the dollar is the stabilized unit of value, but it is not. The dollar is forever depreciating in value. It's so simple. All fiat currency is inflationary. It is always depreciating in value because more is always being created for infinity. It will reach a limit. That's when we get hyperinflation and everything devalues. Your loaf of bread now costs you $1,000. Dollars is now pointless. That's why they have to reset the finances. But remember, here's the thing, don't worry, even the digital currency, when we have the digital dollar, the CBDC, when we have that, they've reset the dollar. It's now, okay, we're starting again. Your loaf of bread cost, 50 cents. But it's still a fiat currency. It still will have a slight inflation. It's still not going to be stable. It still doesn't matter. At the moment, we've developed this private banking mechanism for dollars. When you've got your digital currency, it doesn't matter. Your digital currency will go into your private trust wallet via the same system I talked about. So you can have CBDCs, digital dollars, digital pounds, doesn't matter. You will still be anonymous. Here's the thing, doesn't matter. Whatever the globalists are trying to do, we neutralize it. Digital identity doesn't matter. We lock it away, you become invisible. Digital money, state-controlled money, doesn't matter. We take the money, we use the money, but we lock it away in our private vault. It becomes invisible. They don't know who we are to use that money. All they see is IPC Limited having a digital money account. It cannot localize it to any single one of us. So even the digital currency profiling system, credit score system will not work on us. Doesn't matter. In our system, we have an independent economy based on a stable unit of value that is gold. But gold is nothing. It's not like we're going to be chasing gold. We're just using gold as a unit of value. That's the ENT token. So it doesn't mean we have to have gold for every single ENT token. What it means is we can have more ENT token created as long as the network agrees that that token is worth 1 milligram of gold. So for example, work you do. If you're going to do some work for the network will pay you. But how much does it pay you? It's not paying you in dollars, it's paying you in milligrams of gold, or tokens of milligrams of gold. So the network must decide, okay, that job you're doing, we all accept it's a good job, we all appreciate it. Therefore, ENTIFY blockchain will create some more tokens to pay you. But we must vote. It's like the whole network, we must have a decision. We put out a message. Here's a job, this is the job specifications. How much do you think this job is worth? 10 tokens, 100 tokens, 1,000 tokens, or your own value? And then we all vote until we have a consensus. And we then select the most universal amount. All right, the majority of us decided this job is worth 10 tokens. Therefore, when you do this job, you'll be paid 10 tokens by the network. And everyone will agree that's fine. That's a fair unit of stable value to pay you for that job. That's how it's going to work. Now let me explain it to you once more in land. Okay, land is complicated, but you've got an asset of land. Now you must prove that you own the land. There is nobody else claiming for that land, so it must be off the land registry. That much you must have. But remember, that land now is registered to your private trust, not you. You are still the identity that authorizes the private trust. You are the trustee of the private trust, but the private trust owns the land. So now there's no dispute. We can also say, no, the land, nobody can own land. I also believe that. Nobody can own land, but we can use it. We can be the trustee of it. And as the trustee of it, we must protect it. Because people will come in, they want to ruin the land. No, you cannot come in to this land, I own it, or my private trust owns it. I am the only authorized trustee of this land. I will protect it. You cannot come in and claim it. So we must have this ownership. Now the land will be recorded, again, using radio. We can have a designated border. Now the land, real surface area, is recorded onto the ENTIFY meshnet on the blockchain. That is connected to your private trust wallet. All in private, secret, but perfectly authentic. Now you've got real land connected to your private trust wallet. Now you can tokenize it. The allodial reserve trust comes in, we have to verify it, tag it, and then the group of people, multiple people must agree on its value in milligrams of gold. Then you can have that many milligrams of gold on the network. But to you, you have not lost anything. This is why it is advantageous for anyone to bring their property to ENTIFY. If you've got land, you bring it to ENTIFY because immediately we liquidate its value and you have that value. But you still have got perfect ownership of the land or the asset. So your private trust wallet has still got a allodial title on the land. You have not given it to the administration. No, they have not got it. But at the same time, you have liquidated it into tokens. It's like that land became a lump of gold, you melted it down into tokens, now you can spend them. The gold was yours, so the tokens are yours. You don't need a bank, nothing to do with the bank. The only problem is we must trust it. We must trust you that was real gold. We must trust you that you've got real land. Otherwise the tokens don't work. And now we can. ENTIFY verifies it all. But now you've got both. You've still got the land and you've got the tokens. They are yours. You go and spend them, but you can only spend them inside the ENTIFY network because the assets are connected to the ENTIFY network. If you take the tokens out, then they're outside the network. They then become disconnected to the asset. Now you're cheating. That's the whole problem in the first place. You've got the gold and you make some tokens, but you still got the gold. You think, oh, nobody's looking. Let's make a new set of tokens from the same gold. You're not allowed to do that. So you cannot take ENT tokens out of the network. It's a perfectly private, isolated blockchain. The ENTIFY blockchain is running on a radio mesh. Isolated communication. There will be only one token running on ENTIFY blockchain, nothing else. That is the ENT token. That is simply a unit of universally decided value, and it is based on 1 milligram of gold. So it's not like we're deciding how much is an ENT token worth. No, because that's too abstract. We are deciding how much is 1 milligram of gold worth. Because most of us realize, yeah, okay, gold, I'll have that. Gold, yeah, that's all right. We are. But a token, what's that? No, gold. But the token is representing 1 milligram of gold. So the ENT token is not money. Gold is the money. The ENT token is simply validating 1 single milligram of real gold. So now once more, now you've got your tokens and you've got your land. So you've got two things here. Now remember, the land can only be tokenized once. So that's the benefit of coming to the system. If you bring an asset to the system, immediately you've got both. You've got the land and the money, both. But you cannot tokenize the land a second time. But you've got the benefit of being the first one to tokenize it. You've got both. And you can spend the money. So let's say you did that. You brought a land to the ENTIFY system and you got 1 million tokens. And then you spent them. They're gone. But you still got the land. Now you want to sell the land. You want some more money. But the tokens for the land have gone. So in order for that to exchange ownership, the tokens must come back because the land is a single item and its value must be connected to the single item. So the value must come back to the item before it can exchange. So someone else must pay you 1 million tokens for the land. So you could quite simply now sell the land. You've got nothing, but you've got the land. Someone now pays you 1 million tokens and you give them the land. Now you've lost the land. It's gone. The new person owns the land, but you've now got 1 million tokens again. Okay, that's clean. Now the new owner has got the land, but they've lost the tokens. They've got no tokens. They've spent the tokens on the land. So that's a clean transaction. No profit, no loss. But here's the reality. Each item, single asset, will go up and down in value because of it changes. So you've got your land. You've come in with the land, you've tokenized it for 1 million tokens. but you use those tokens to improve the land. You've built houses on the land. You've built, I don't know, a hotel on the land, a health spa, a gym. So you've spent your 1 million tokens to build to infrastructure on the land. Now the land is worth a lot more. The land is now worth 10 million tokens. So you could do two things. You've taken your original land, you valued it at 1 million tokens, you got the tokens. Now you spent the tokens to improve the land. So now your 1 million tokens are gone. You spent them all, but you've still got the land, and now you've got property on the land. You need some more tokens. So you could sell it, or you could re-tokenize it. Because now you can prove that asset is worth more. So now you go back to the allodial reserve private trust administration, and you say, I want to value this property again and re-tokenize it. So then they have to come in, examine it, verify it, and say, yes, okay, we now think this land and property is worth 10 million tokens. So now, again, you still maintain full ownership of it, but you can re-tokenize for 10 million tokens. That's fine. Less the original 1 million. Okay, the original 1 million is gone, so less 1 million. So you've got the extra. Or you could sell it. You could also sell it. You might not want to bother with it anymore. I don't want this land anymore. Let me just sell it and keep the money. So the same business. When someone wants to buy it, they don't know how much to buy it for. Well, they need to know its, look at it this way, they need to know its verified value, most universal value. So that you still have to get the allodial reserve private trust to value it in milligrams of gold. So that has to be there. But it's still up to you whether you sell it at that value. You see, the allodial reserve will say to you, okay, this property is worth 10 million tokens. If you want, we can do that for you. You can have 10 million tokens. But you might think, no. This property is worth 20 million tokens. So you can say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait to sell it. So then it's up to you. You put it out there. I want to sell it for 20 million tokens. People will come and they'll say, well, it's been valued at 10 million. And you say, I don't care. To me, it's worth 20 million. If you want it, it's 20 million. And then it's up to the user, the other buyer. They have to think, all right, okay, I'll give you 15 million. Now the value is decided between the two people. Do you see? But the stable value in milligrams of gold must be universal for the network. That's the purpose of the allodial reserve private trust administration. But in time, the whole network will be so big. Every single, you will need more locations for this private trust administration, the allodial reserve. It becomes decentralized, and it can be decentralized in a very different way. You know, arbitrary experts in the network. You could have a property and real local validators come and have a look. They take photographs, they take films, they put it out onto the network. The network sends it to independent validators all around the world. You don't know who they are. An independent validator studies the film, studies it, and they give a valuation. So you've got, I don't know, 10, 20 independent validators giving the value of the property, and they're anonymous, decentralized. So now that's completely fair. So the allodial reserve administration trust, its purpose is to value things, but that will become decentralized. Now I hope this made sense. Okay, I think I'm still going to have to do part 3 of this video in which I explain the insurance pool mechanism. That requires a whole discussion in itself. So maybe I'll leave that till next time. Next time I'll explain the insurance pool balancing mechanism. So there's a bit more to that. But I hope this explained why gold becomes the true stable coin, or rather ENT token becomes the true stable coin. So thank you so much again for listening. Please do leave me any questions, comments or suggestions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode in which I'll explain the insurance pool balancing mechanism.
We are the net.